Hello everybody, my name is Lorraine Schrey. I hope you guys are having a really good day. And I hope I'm about to make your day a little bit better. We are actually going to move today. We're going to stretch, we're going to flex, maybe a little bit of strength along the way as we move in our chair. So whether you're at the office or you're at home, you'll need just a chair. Your chair can have handles on the side, it can be on wheels, it doesn't matter. Of course, if it is on wheels, we'll want to take extra precautions and make sure it doesn't slide if you're on hardwood or anything like that. So you want to make sure the chair is secure. So, but yeah, that's all you'll need today. And of course, you'll need a willing mind to prepare yourself and embrace the journey of chair yoga, chair stretching, chair movement. So find your way to your chair and be seated. Now we want to make sure that we're seated not all the way to the very back of our chair, but that we're scooted forward just a little bit. Yes? So your back is nice and straight, your posture is tall, and then your feet are grounded into the floor. Yeah, so your feet can reach the floor. So before we move on, let's remind ourselves that most chairs, especially office chairs, are adjustable, in particular office chairs. So make sure that your chair is adjusted to your body. In other words, we really want to have like a 90 degrees bend from the hip to the knee. We don't want our knees to be angled down or be sitting up too high, right? That's just going to cause a lot of tension in the hip joints, the hip flexors and things like that. So you'll want to make sure that that is where your chair is at. And then of course, we're not going to be sitting back really today, but when you do sit back for work or sitting on your computer, you want to make sure that you're not, your chair, the back of your chair is not too much forwards and it's not too much back. You want to have a nice straight spine, yeah? While still accomplishing that feet on the floor and that 90 degrees with those hips. So that's just from the get-go. That's just to make sure you're in the proper alignment, even seated, since we spend a lot of time, especially lately, right, seated on your chair working. So let's just get that from the get-go established. So again, scoot yourself just a little bit forwards, making sure those feet are definitely touching flat on the ground, and you want your feet to be about hip distance apart. So as we do with any yoga practice, we come to an awareness of our breath. And we're still just going to be putting breath and movement together here. So let's close down our eyes. You've established that foundation of posture seated. And place those hands wherever you like. Maybe if you have an armrest, they can be on your armrest on top of your thighs, or even at heart center, or palms facing the sky on top of your thighs. Wherever you can, come to a place where you can set the intention for your movement in your chair today. We come to an awareness of our breath as we inhale through the nose and then we exhale through the mouth. Continue that breath. On those breaths, you might feel your shoulders rise. You might imagine the rib cage opening, the lungs expanding. Allowing your exhale to be longer, deeper, and stronger than your inhale. Just sort of like warming up your body internally, providing some energy, heating up the belly, and preparing us for movement. Let's take just a couple of more breaths. Staying right here. Blink open your eyes. Wherever your arms are, take them down by your side. Now, depending upon whether you have armrests on your chair or not, take your hands behind you. So maybe they are going to clasp the back of your chair or behind the back of the chair on the seat, or the back of the chair where the spine would be. And roll the shoulders up and back. And just open up the heart. There's a wonderful inhale. And then on the exhale, press those arms forwards, reach down to the floor. Inhale, rise up. Circle the arms around, reach to the back of that chair, open up the heart. Reach those arms forwards wherever your range is. Inhale to the top of a seated mountain. Exhale, circle those arms around, open up the heart. Reach forward towards your knees, towards the floor. Inhale, circle those arms right back up. Top of that seated mountain. Exhale, circle those arms around, open up the heart. Reaching forward, forward fold. Let circle those arms all the way up to the top of that mountain, and then exhale, bring those hands to heart center. Arms back down by your thighs. Roll the shoulders up and back. So if you have space where your hands are down by your side, or if you don't have space, just bend the elbows. Just bend the elbows. Get some nice movement in the shoulders. And let's go the other way. Circle the shoulders the other way. Now, making sure there's nothing you're going to bump into, we'll tee out the arms and we'll just cross the arms front and back and front and back. And you can be as dynamic as you want to here. Let's do a couple more. And then hold that little hug. And then reach those arms back up to the top of that mountain. Bend your right elbow. Grab a hold of your right elbow with your left hand. And reach to the back like you're scratching your back. And then just see, like you're scratching your back right there. And then just see how much range you have to give a little tug on the elbow. You could maybe reach over to the opposite side a little bit, if that was available. And then inhale back up to the top of that seated mountain. Grab the left elbow. Reach back, scratch that back, maybe a little hinge over. Inhale back up, switching sides. Grab that right elbow, maybe a little hinge over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, grow, and let's circle those arms back around. Reach for the back of that chair again. Open up the heart. One more time through that sequence. Exhale, reach forwards wherever your forwards is. Maybe it's just to your knees, to the floor. Circle those arms all the way up to the top of that mountain. There's your inhale. Exhale, circle them around. Reach for the back of the chair. Open up the heart. Exhale, reaching forwards. Inhale, circling those arms right back up. Exhale, around, reaching for the back of that chair. Open up the heart. One last time. Exhale, reaching your degree, your angle of reaching forwards. Circle the arms all the way up to the top of the mountain. Staying right here. And then grab a hold of that right elbow. Reach back like you're scratching your back. Maybe you reach over to the left. Inhale to the top of that seated mountain. Exhale, reach over. Inhale, top of the mountain. Exhale, reach over. Inhale. Exhale, over. Inhale, lengthen. And then again, making sure there's nothing in your way. You're just going to swing those arms front and back. You could give yourself a hug. You could just swing them. Whatever is available. So with that being said, we always listen to our bodies. We never force anything. We just listen and see what's available. And then one more time, hold that hug. And then bring those arms down by your side. If you have an armrest, place your hands on the armrest. If not, just stay right there. Inhale the left arm up, and then just reach over. So you're gonna reach over a little bit if you're on an armrest. If you're not, you're just gonna bend this opposite arm and just reach over just slightly. Yeah, it's reaching over. We're making sure those feet are still grounded. Inhale, rise up. Switching sides, so wherever you are, reach over. Maybe reach over. Inhale as you rise up. Exhale over. Inhale, rise up. Exhale over. Wherever your opposite arm finds its way. And then reach up to the top. Circle the arms one more time behind you. Now hold on to your chair, or if it's available, clasp your hands behind you. Press down past your tailbone and open up your heart. Whatever's available for you. And then gently lower those arms down, release those arms wherever you are. Now let's place our hands on top of our knees. And then take your feet a little bit wider. Now scoot yourself just a little more forwards on your chair. So we want to be forwards enough on our chair that we're not at the edge. We want to be safe that we're at the back. So we've got a pretty good space back here. Yep. And our feet are wider than our hips right here. So let's just come onto our elbows right here. Maybe you hold onto your hands. And then we're going to lower our head down and maybe peek through the bottom of the chair. And then we're going to rise back up like a rag doll. Slowly rise up. Circle the arms. Now clasp your fingers, turn them inside out. Hinge back. So we need that space in the back so that we can tuck our belly button into our spine, have a little bit of a tilt, and round out the top part of those shoulders. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, bring those arms back down so the elbows are going to go back onto the thighs. Maybe you hold the hands and you gaze through the back of the chair. Now, option here, if you'd like and it's available, you reach for the floor. And maybe you just do a really deep seated forward fold and you take your gaze through the bottom of the chair. Wherever you are, again, maybe you're on your elbows, but you're getting a nice rounding in that lower back, a rounding in the top part of the back, and taking that gaze through the back of the chair. So wherever you are, ragdoll, let's rise up. Take your time, slowly rising up. Arms come out to the side. Big lengthening inhale. Clasp your fingers, turn them inside out, hinge back, so you're pulling that belly button into your spine, rounding out the top part of your back. Inhale, back up to that seated top of the mountain. Exhale, the arms come down one more time. Elbows on the thighs, lowering and gazing to the back of your chair, or maybe all the way down. You just have to kind of like see what's available for you. Remember, our feet are still wider than our hips. So we are hinging, folding, bending forwards. The back of the neck is hanging really heavy. So no matter where you are, the back of the neck is hanging heavy. Maybe think of bringing the chin into the chest. And then like a ragdoll, you rise up slowly. You circle those arms. Clasp those fingers, turn them inside out, hinge back, round out the top part of your back. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, tee out the arms. Cross the right arm across your body. Reach for your triceps, your shoulder, maybe your elbow, and then just give yourself a one-armed hug right there. So remember, our posture is still nice and tall here. Yeah. I just happen to be on a nice pivoting chair to show you the different directions. Open up the arms, left arm comes across, grab the tricep, the elbow, the shoulder. Give yourself a one-armed hug on the other side. Inhale, open, be very dynamic and open up the heart, back to the beginning. And open, and exhale, close. open, and now give yourself a big hug. Both arms right there. Hinge back. Imagine you're pulling your elbows down towards your thighs. Just a nice little hug. Unwind, take those arms up to the top of the mountain, and then bring them down by your side. And then shake out the wrist, shake out the fingers. I encourage you to kind of do this particular shake often, because if you're sitting at your computer doing this all day, the poor little wrist takes a beating, right? And your fingers too. So we need our joints to be lubricated, and that happens with movement. So just open and close the fingers, shake the wrist, just movement, 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 and lots of water. Yeah, there you go. Okay, good job. All right, so now let's open our hips a little bit. So we scooted a little bit more, a little forwards, right? We're not on the edge for sure, but we are scooted forwards. Now we're gonna rotate. I'm gonna take my left leg over to the side and my right leg out to the side. So I'm kind of just on my left glute, right? And this back leg, it can be bent, it can be straight. So if you straighten and lengthen it, you're gonna get more of a hip flexor stretch here. Just a little tiny, we'll come back to this, but just a little hip opening before we introduce our twisting. And then let's rotate so we go over to the other side. Again, if you have handles or if you don't, doesn't matter. And this right foot is still grounded on the floor. Again, you can bend this knee. You're still gonna get a pretty good stretch, but maybe try to lengthen it out just a little bit. Just a little bit of a stretch before we add the twisting. And then let's unwind, come on back to the center. All right, so make sure you're still nice and grounded into your chair. Your feet are grounded into the floor. The knees are always behind your big toe. So when we're seated in our chair, we don't want our feet back here. We always want our feet to be right in alignment with the knees. Yeah, just right there. So on an inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, drop the right arm, so maybe to the back of the chair. And then take that left arm and cross it over. Maybe it reaches for the armrest, or it's on the inside of the thigh. Now there's some other options here. Depending upon your range, you could reach back, reach, help, whatever gives you your deepest twist. Yeah, your gaze will go to the back as well. Inhale, lengthen and grow. Exhale, let's twist to the other side. So again, wherever your arm is comfortable, whatever your body is telling you, that range is working. Taking the gaze back. Inhale, top of that seated mountain. Exhale, let's twist. Maybe it's right here. Just put that hand on that knee and the gaze goes back. Wherever. Inhale as you rise. Exhale to the other side. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, hands come to heart center, and that's forward fold, wherever your forward fold leads you. Again, maybe it's right here. Maybe it's all the way down. So wherever you are in your forward fold, heel toe your feet just a little bit wider, just a tiny bit wider. Heel toe those feet. And whether you're on your elbows or your hands are on the floor, let's take our left hand over towards the right. So maybe it's going to be on the right knee, the shin, the ankle, or maybe you can reach all the way down to the floor. And then that right arm is going to inhale and lengthen to the sky. Exhale as you come through the middle, and then you inhale up to the sky. So whatever angle is working for you. Exhale as you go through the middle, inhale as you lengthen. So we don't want to force anything. Remember, we already talked about that. But we do want to take ourselves, exhale through the middle, inhale through the top. We do want to take ourselves out of our comfort zone. We don't want to be uncomfortable. Exhale through the middle, inhale. But we do want to challenge our body. Inhale, And then exhale, let's find our way, staying in the middle right there. And then like a rag doll, let's rise up. Take those hands behind you. Again, either holding onto the chair, clasping your fingers, press down past your tailbone, and open up the heart. And then lower down, release. Clasp those hands in front of you, hinge back, pull the belly button into the spine, round out the back. And then inhale to the top of that seated mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we've twisted, we've turned, we've moved our spine and our hips in all different directions. So let's continue a little bit deeper. We've already warmed up the movement. So again, you're established that you are a little bit scooted forward on your chair, and we're gonna take our feet just a little bit wider. That front foot is definitely grounded. The knee is behind the big toe, and you just pivot your hips. Just pivot those hips, and then open up the heart. Now, if you have a armrest, that's fine. Use that, great. If not, maybe one hand goes on top of that left leg, and another hand reaches back behind on the back of the chair, and you get a deeper twist. Just take your gaze to the back. Just kind of deliberately rotate that spine. Then back we go to the center. Everything is still grounded on the floor, and then we're rotating to the other side. So we take that hip, we turn it. Again, if this back foot is bent, that's totally fine. You know what your body is telling you is okay. And again, maybe that hand comes across here, it goes on top of the armrest. This arm could go back here or not, whatever's available. And then we unwind, we do that again, rotate. Hopefully each time you can maybe go just a little bit deeper in a stretch. Each time as you add on. And then we'll unwind, we're staying grounded. We rotate, we open up that hip. Maybe this is enough right here without rotation. Unwind, coming back to the center. And then keep your feet the width that we just, a little bit wider than the hips. Take your hands and reach them behind your head. So they're just kind of planted there. And then you're just gonna bend side to side. Right, little tiny bends side to side. You've got that long, tall spine. You're thinking of pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Those elbows are just sort of reaching to the side, reaching towards the floor. Yeah, you could extend this. You could make this a little bit more dynamic. You could, all sorts of maybes and coulds in our yoga practice on the chair. Yeah. We are just moving, and that is the best part. Making a difference in our day with movement. How about one more time each side? There's one. Oh, I guess two each side. There we go. Release and open up the heart. Give yourself a well-deserved hug right here. Heel toe those feet so they're back to about hip distance apart. And then circle the arms all the way up to the top. Open up the arms. Now make an X. Take your right arm on the bottom, your left arm on the top. So there's your X. Make another X. And then maybe it's a hug, or maybe you make a tighter X for eagle. So it was a cross, another X, and then maybe an additional little twist. So if you're here, or you're here, wherever you are, let's make sure the elbows are at 90 degrees. Your posture is still up nice and tall. So we're just kind of putting a demand on those shoulders. Our shoulders take a beating as we are sitting at our desks maybe and hunched over a lot. So just giving our shoulders a nice little stretch. Now let's unwind, lengthen up to the top. There's your inhale. Exhale, circle the arms behind you, reaching for the back of the chair, for the seat, for the armrest, whatever is available for you. Open up the heart. And then on an inhale, back up to the top of that seated mountain. And then exhale, tee out those arms. Another side, take the left arm underneath. There's your X. Here's our other X. And if you want to go deeper, you're going up to 90 degrees. Your posture, nice and tall. Still awareness of that breath. And then let's unwind, open up the arms, reach behind you, open up the heart. And then reach those arms forward, just like we did in the very beginning. And forward fold, your forward fold. Remember, whatever is available for you. And then like a rag doll, rise up. Inhale those arms, top of that seated mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So figure 4, seated. So you're grounded into your chair. Let's take your right leg and lift it up. Lift your right foot up. Place it on top of your thigh. Bring it super close to right where the hip bends, or maybe it's above your knee, whatever your range is allowing you to do. It's a pretty demanding stretch for the hip. So we'll just hold it here just for a moment, just so your body gets adjusted to that pretty demanding stretch right there. Little IT band, inner part of the hip right there. Now there are options here. If you have more range of motion, you could reach underneath and just kind of give that leg a little tug, pulling it towards you. Yeah. So I just took my same arm, my right arm, I put it underneath and pulled it. I could also just place it on top of my knee. So I'm kind of like you're holding a baby, right? Like you're rocking a baby. So you're holding your foot, your knee, underneath, whatever, or you're just right here. That is good enough, right? The posture is still tall, and you're really sort of like letting gravity take over, and the hip is feeling that demand of that gravity with some opening there. So with that breath, try to make sure you're not holding your knee up, right? Just kind of, let it go. Maybe if you'd like a little bit of resistance, you could press very gently, little tiny presses, or a static press. We never want to do anything ballistic. You always want to be very gentle, kind to your joints. And then we gently and carefully unwind, bring that knee back into your chest. Give yourself a hug right here. And then open up the heart, circle the foot, point and flex the toe. There you go. Circle the ankle, both directions. Now take that leg and extend it long, and just, this one is bent, but we're gonna try our best to just kind of open up that hip just a little bit, just kind of open it up. Now from here, how about a forward fold? So it's a half a forward fold. Maybe here's good enough, or maybe you can reach down. So our leg is straight this time. So we're trying to get the hamstring, reaching forwards. Allow that head to just sort of hang heavy as well. Like a rag doll, slowly rise up. roll the shoulders up and back, and then bend that knee back, and then just kind of windshield wiper. Windshield wiper. There you go, just like that. Okay, let's do the other side. So you take that left leg up. Maybe it just stays right there on that knee. You could try a little bit bigger range of motion wherever your hip says it wants to go. You could take that left arm underneath, lift the leg up, hold on to the knee, give it little bits of movements. I center myself out just a little bit more. Yeah. So when you find where you are going to stay right here, and then again, let the gravity just take over, getting that hip a nice stretch here. Posture is still tall. Again, whatever is available. And I'm barefoot, but you may have shoes on. No big deal. Maybe a little bit of movement. I really sort of encourage you guys to, if you do sit a lot at your desk, to at least do this like once an hour or more, because our hips are pretty much one-dimensional when we're sitting a lot, right? And our hips love to be opened up and given space. And then let's unwind. Give yourself a hug, circle that foot, point and flex the toe. There we go, and then extend that leg long. Remember, this leg is straight now, this right leg is still bent, and your forward fold, wherever you are ready to go. Letting the back of the neck hang heavy. You should feel a really nice hamstring stretch here. And then slowly ragdoll, rise up. There we go. And then again, kind of lengthening, trying to open up that hip just a little bit with the heart opener. Come on back to the center. Both feet about hip distance apart for those windshield wipers. Windshield wipers. You can go back to the long lunging if that feels good on the hip, or just little windshield wipers. And of course my chair is moving, yours may not. Either way, all good. Okay, let's find our way back to seated. So I do want you to, if you do have armrests, to just secure yourself on the armrest, or just place your hands underneath the seat of your chair, right? And then scoot back just a tiny bit. So we just want to make sure we never want to be this far out. Right? So we want to be so that we're, a little bit away from the back of the chair. And you're just going to lift your knees up and place them back down. Just lift them up and back down. Lift, oh yeah, so a little core work, right? Lift and lower, lift and lower. Any yogis out there, are you imagining a chair pose in a chair? Oh my goodness. We won't do that today. Right there. Let's do 4 more. 4 and 3. There's 2. And there's 1, and hold still. Hands behind your neck, and then lift and lift and lift. So a little core work with the abdominal muscles on the side, your obliques. So you're just, see if you can not lower the elbow down, but just kind of think of your torso staying tall and your knee lifting and that elbow rotating towards the knee, towards the shin. With the breath. There's 4, and 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and 1, and 1, and hold it still. Lengthen up that spine and side to side. Right there. Your feet are grounded into the floor. Your posture's tall. You should be able to peekaboo down and see your big toes, knowing that your knees are behind your big toe. There's 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5. There's 4, 3, all different options. 2, 1, 1. Top of that seated mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. So now adding a little bit of movement more dynamically. If you're on a chair with wheels, I want you to be very careful, or maybe you stand up all the way for this as we're going to rise up. Otherwise, please make sure your chair is secure. Now, option is to use your hands to rise up. And then you know that that chair, as you sit back, is not going anywhere, right? So the chair is grounded, it's safe, it's secure. So that when you go back, it's there. So chair pose. Hands to heart center. Chair pose, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center, have a seat. Inhale, chair pose, rise up. Exhale, have a seat. Inhale, rise up. So as you exhale back, those knees are in 90 degrees, yeah? You're grounding your heels into the floor. Feel those, imagine your toes spreading on the floor. You've got a strong foundation of your feet. Lengthening on the inhale, exhale as you lower. Your feet grounded into the floor. Now, do you have to add the arms? No. Can you give yourself a little assistance? Yes, definitely. Let's do 4 more. 3. There's 2. There's 1, and we stay in our chair pose. So we're pressing our hands firmly together. We're making sure our elbows are in the same line. Now with those feet grounded and the knees stable, just hinge forward from your chest. Take your left elbow across the right knee, right? So maybe you're not able to go down. That's totally fine. Just add that twist. So the left elbow comes across that right knee. And again, we're trying to think of stacking the elbows on top of each other. And our gaze is up to the sky. Maybe you can open up those arms. That's a deep binding in the belly, twisting of the spine. Then back we go to heart center. Inhale, top of the mountain, seated pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, hinging forwards, rotating over to the other side. And as you rotate, watch these knees that they don't come together. Try to keep them square. So over you go. Elbows are stacked on top of each other. Still. Your gaze is up to the sky. And option to open up the arms. Back we go to heart center. Inhale, top of the seated mountain. Exhale to heart center. One more time. Hinge slightly forward wherever you are. Maybe you're just going to stay here. Maybe you take that twist deeper. You take the gaze up to the sky and you open up those arms. back, we go to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, arms come down. Hinge forwards. Rotate over to the other side. Option to open up those arms. Gazing up to the sky. Hands back to heart center. Inhale, top of the mountain. Exhale, let's take our hands behind us. Open up our heart. Release. Inhale, top of the seated mountain. Clasp your hands. Turn them inside out. Hinge back. Pull the belly button into the spine. And then rise up, big inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to take our finishing postures and we're going to stand up and use our chair. So again, whatever you need to do to rise up all the way. Oh my goodness. Whew, that feels good, right? Okay, so let's go to the back of your chair. I'm going to turn mine sideways so you can see. And we're just going to turn our hips. Just turn and turn. So from here, or if you stand to the side, whatever is working for you, just kind of moving the hips. And then we'll go backwards. We'll move them backwards. Ooh, that should feel good. Yep, hold it still. Now how about front and back, in front and back? Yeah. Just all dimensions of movements with those hips. And then hold still. Now come on, up on the toes, back on the heels. Up on the toes, back on the heels. Up on the toes. And can you stay up on the toes? Back down. 4 and 3. There's 2 and 1, and hold still, and then we'll do the other side. So I'm going to move my chair over here. Yep, and then we'll move that other hip in circles. Go the other way. And to the front, and to the back. Front and back. I hope your hips are saying thank you. Yeah. Okay, bring those feet back together. Some heel raises, up and back. Kind of just stimulating all the nerve endings in our feet. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Just getting some nice blood flow everywhere. And then hold still. So again, holding onto your chair, make sure that it's very secure because we're going to balance here. So we're going to reach back and grab your foot. Now if you have some sort of a prop, maybe a towel you could wrap around your ankle, or a belt or something like that, or a band, if it's not available to grab your foot. So you grab your foot, now your leg is just bent here, right? In order to get a nice hip flexor stretch, you have to deliberately open up the hip. See the difference? There's that where I'm just holding my foot and nothing's happening. But I really want to get a hip flexor and a quad stretch. So I'm going to push my hand and my foot together, and then I'm going to pull the ankle towards me, and I'm going to open up the hip. So I'm getting a wonderful hip stretch and a quad stretch. Yeah. So again, whatever you're holding on to, or maybe you don't need to hold on to anything, is nice and secure. Now we did figure 4 seated. So let's take that same leg, this same leg, release it, bring it up on top of your knee or maybe below your knee, and you're holding on to something. Now just have a seat. So standing figure 4, yeah. Or maybe you don't need to hold on to anything. Yeah. Let's inhale to the top of the mountain. And then exhale, come on down. And then other side. So I'm not going to move my chair. You don't need to, as long as you have space. So that foot is below the knee, it's above the knee, and you just sort of have a seat back. If you need the assistance with your balance. Otherwise, maybe not. And if you are wiggling a little bit, that's okay. If you're trying to find balance, just embrace all those wiggles. That's your body's way of just like, you know, challenging itself to find that center, to find that space, to find that place of stillness right there. It's a wonderful stretch in the IT band right there. And then let's inhale to the top of the mountain. Exhale, come on down, and then we'll do the other side where we reach for the foot. So, take that foot, again, I'm pushing my hand and my foot together. I'm deliberately opening up the hip and pulling that ankle in towards my glute. Again, maybe you have a towel, a band, a belt, something. Nice little stretch right there. And very, very gently release. And then we already did figure 4 on this side. And let's just kind of move our hips just a little bit right here. Yeah. And then roll the shoulders. We did this in the beginning on the chair. Arms are a little bit bigger, a little tiny bend in the knees. And then lengthen the arms all the way up to the top of that mountain. Right arm comes down by your side, reach over to the right. How does that feel? Do you have space to open up that side body? Inhale, top of the mountain. Exhale, over to the other side. I hope this feels really good. Inhale, top of the mountain. Exhale, take the left arm to the front, the right arm to the back. And then take your gaze back to the right. So just like a nice little standing twist. Inhale as you rise. Exhale, right arm to the front, left arm to the back, and take your gaze to the back. Inhale as you rise, and then exhale, hands to heart center. So feel free to be seated back in your chair or stay standing as we just come to a close of our practice, our chair practice. And we just recognize that movement is available all the time. So for you to take the time to honor your body with movement, make a difference in your day, make a difference in your joints. Release endorphins. I hope that you feel really good after all of this movement. I will see you next time. Forward fold. Namaste. Thank you. I will see you all next time.